What is up, everybody? How's it going? Welcome back to the channel if you're watching this on VOD, and welcome to another week in the Wednesday Night War reaction, review, recap, whatever you want to call it. I believe I title it recap and or review and reactions. It's one of the things. Anyway, this is for the October 23rd edition of the Wednesday Night War between AEW Dynamite and WWE NXT, and this might have been... This, I think, has been hands down, aside from maybe the first week, this has been the best week of the war so far, hands down. Both shows, both brands brought it from the beginning, and it was incredible. And it started off like crazy. Hi, says Footballers in the chat, by the way. I'm going to be, if anybody's got any questions in the live chat or any comments, I will definitely feed into them and read them as we go through. The show started off insane. AEW decided, okay, we're going to just start with our tag team because our tag team division is incredible. So we're going to start with the tag team semifinals. They did Lucha Bros versus Private Party. And I honestly believe Private Party, like, they made a name for themselves in this match. This put me very high on Private Party. Everybody knows the Lucha Bros is one of the, if not the best tag team in the world right now. It was an incredible match, great match, in the running for my match of the night. Lucha Brothers eventually overcame and were able to beat Private Party, punch their way into the finals. A lot of high energy, high flying, innovative, spotty wrestling here, and in the best of ways. It was a really great match, but NXT had what I honestly, unless I change my mind, had the actual match of the night. They started off just as hot. Both shows know where their strengths are compared to the other brand and started with it. Like I just said, AEW started with the tag division, NXT started with their women's division, and Rhea Ripley and Bianca Belair tore the damn roof off of Full Sail. They went at it. They absolutely went at it in that first match, whereas the other one was very high pace, high energy. Rhea Ripley and Belair, it was like two people who just wanted to murder each other. Very high intensity, brawler, high, like, you felt every single shot, move, and impact. You felt that there was a grudge between these two, that they were really fighting, scratching, clawing to make a statement and put a flag down amongst the women's division as to who should challenge Shayna Baszler next for the NXT Women's Championship. I absolutely loved it, adored it. I think it is my match of the night, hands down. I do not think my opinion is going to change. It ended with Io Shirai trying to steal the win off of Rhea Ripley. Bianca Belair hits a spear. Ripley kicks out. Candice LeRae gets involved, takes down Io. Oh man, this just showed the strength of the women's division. Rhea Ripley with the win. She looks like gold. Bianca Belair, I said this last time she was on the show when she faced Dakota Kai. She has improved so much in the last year. She looked so good. She looked like gold. She looked like a star tonight. It was just an incredible start to the night. If you're a fan of wrestling, tonight was a great night. Breezy agrees with me. She caught AEW. She said that Private Party was great tonight. And Death Crow also said that that was a good point, that, you know, both shows did start off with their strongest asset, with their stronger division over the other. AEW continued to roll with the strength of the tag team division and went with SCU versus the Dark Order. This was a good heel versus face match. Also had quite a bit of high energy. I think this was a good spot where it really showcased and elevated Frankie Kazarian and Scorpio Sky with Christopher Daniels out. Really showed that these two guys can be stars in their own right for if and when SCU ever breaks up or those two decide to go for singles competition away from Daniels. We also had a great moment where which led into, this is again like the other segment by segment storytelling that AEW is just so very good at right now, where the Inner Circle sans Jake Hager came through the crowd up to a box suite, and then we're having a little bit of the bubbly and some popcorn, watching and enjoying the match, rooting against SCU because they're heels. They're gonna root for other heels. Dark Order looked really solid here. Eventually SCU came out on top with the big win, and as expected, like, I think this is AEW also tying together long-term storytelling so well. We are going to be getting Lucha Brothers versus SCU, a grudge match given what Lucha Brothers did to hurt Christopher Daniels, and it's also planting the seeds, should SCU win, of a rivalry between SCU and Santana and Ortiz, since they were rooting against those guys in the semifinal in the box. So, boom, long-term storytelling there for you guys. Breezy says that she loves Bianca Belair. Footballers, Pride Party is so good. Lucha Brothers are unreal. They are the best ever. They are the best team out there. Footballers saying Kaz and Sky are very underrated amongst the tag division, which really shows the depth they have, which is true. Yeah, like, the tag division is just so good in AEW right now. And yeah, Jake Hager was not with the Inner Circle for that segment. It flowed into the next segment where they were cheering against Omega, it seemed, who faced off against Joey Janela. In between those matches, I believe this is where the Wardlow promo came in. It was really good. Made him look really strong, but I don't know what to make quite of Wardlow. I haven't heard of him. I don't really know what he's gonna do. So this or what he's done. So I'm gonna have to wait and see what he does in the ring. Before I get to Omega versus Janela, though, NXT answered with a match that I thought was not going to be that great. Matt Riddle versus Cameron Grimes. I was not big on Cameron Grimes. I didn't know why I was getting this big push in NXT. And Matt Riddle, I really like Matt Riddle, but I almost kind of feel like he's a little overrated, and that's not to say he's bad, and not even to say he isn't really good. It's just that, like, there's something about Matt Riddle that just hasn't quite fully clicked with me yet. But this was another step in him actually fully clicking with me, because this match proved me wrong. Riddle and Grimes had a hell of a match. Grimes with some spin-out slams and power slams. The great match. I loved the slower paced technical wrestling to start things off, which kind of slowed things down from the intensity of the first match, and then built and ramped back up again. It was like, okay, let the crowd come down and breathe for a second at the beginning of this match, and then we pick up the intensity once again. Really good booking. I think this is the best booking I think NXT has had so far, especially since they've come to USA Network, or some of the best booking they've had in a single show, period. But definitely the best since their move to USA. Then we go ahead and we get Omega versus Joey Janela. Omega and Joey Janela have some really good chemistry. Like, if you guys haven't seen their match from AEW Dark, I would recommend you watch this, because if you enjoyed their AEW match tonight, which was normal stipulations, I highly recommend you go check that one out, because that one was even better. Footballers, I don't really care for Riddle. I just want to say bro. Okay, that's fair. But this was another good, solid match. I love the cutbacks, Inner Circle booing for Kenny, because Kenny is a member of the Elite. Eventually, Kenny wins. Kenny gets his first AEW Dynamite singles victory. He won his only other singles victory in AEW was at Fight for the Fallen against CIMA. So he now has 2 wins. He is now above 500 in his win-loss record, which is very good. Yay for Kenny. Solid match, not too bad. It kept the show rolling along quite well. And like Footballers said, Janela was absolutely selling his heart out. Deathcrow, I was going to retort with no, with regards to the, I'm assuming that's with regards to the Riddle versus Grime match, but yeah, it was amazing. And they followed up with Breezango and a mystery partner versus the Forgotten Sons. If you all remember, if you've watched some of these reactions and reviews a couple weeks ago, I went on a rant. An absolute rant about Breezango losing to the Forgotten Sons, but this again proved that I was wrong about that call, because Breezango came out. They have a new gimmick. It's very Top Gun related, fighter jets. I don't know if I'm into it, but that's them getting beat, I guess, is the reason for this transition into their new gimmick. I enjoyed it. I like the outfits, at least. And they got paired up with Isaiah Swerve Scott as their mystery partner. And this was a really good, solid match. Not too bad. I didn't mind it too much. Swerve Scott, Isaiah Scott really shined here, really showed what he could do. It was a good showcase match for him, and it also was a nice comeback match for Breezango for them to get some offense and some good hot tags by Dango in this one. And they ended up picking up the win with Isaiah Scott picking up the actual pinfall and redeeming it, the Breezango thing that I felt was a wrong. It righted the wrong from a couple weeks ago. And we got ourselves an interesting rivalry here between the Forgotten Sons, Breezango, and if he sticks around with it, Isaiah Swerve Scott. Murpho on a soapbox. I need to see this rant. Yeah, it's from a couple weeks ago. I was not happy with Breezango losing their first match in NXT since coming back down. Breezango has a new gimmick each week. I think this one will stick, though. I think Breezango is coming out to a new gimmick each week, as 2 weeks ago was Construction. This week it was Top Gun. Okay, well then maybe I can get... Okay, that makes it interesting then. If they're like changing it up to be like fun. Okay, I can be down for that. We'll see what happens in another 2 weeks. Then we had on AEW, continuing with the flowing storytelling from segment to segment that AEW is so good at that I wish NXT did more. Cody comes down to the ring to talk with Tony Schiavone. He can't get a word in edgewise because Inner Circle is still in their luxury box and they've got air horns. They're blowing air horns. Cody and Jericho start shooting barbs at each other. Jericho is antagonizing Cody to come up and fight him, but then he's like, there's 4 of us up here, you don't have anybody. Dustin Rhodes comes out, he's like, oh, it's still 4v2. Out comes MJF, crowd pops huge for MJF. Everybody loves MJF as Cody's best friend. I do and don't hope that he turns on Cody. I'm just enjoying it, really. Breezango, question mark, and the Forgotten Sons will be feuding for the next year. Maybe. Anyway, I don't want to break my concentration. And then they're like, it's still 4-on-3, except it's me, it's DDP. Diamond Dallas Page comes out to the aid of Cody because, you know, he's a friend of the Rhodes family. He's a friend of the Nightmare family. And they all go up there. And this was pure entertainment gold in this segment. Inner Circle decides to play it smart. They back out into this like little like side area or the entrance door to the box. They lock it. They start laughing at Cody and them because they can't get in. Cody gets a scarf from MJF, wraps his hand so he doesn't Goldberg himself like the old WCW incident with him where he gashed his hand open, and punches a hole through the window, unlocks the door, and the brawl is on. Through the backstage, Jericho takes a crutch from a fan, tries to beat Jericho with it. Security comes flowing in. They're getting torn apart from one another. They're caring about tearing Cody and Dustin off of guys. Meanwhile, MJF just beat the hell out of Sammy Guevara in the back, which is hilarious. Jericho's weeping with his ticket, saying, I bought a ticket, get them out of here. Oh my god, this is moment of the night. I know what happened later might be moment of the night. A good contender, but I think this is the moment of the night. This was, I think, the most entertaining, maybe I'll give the shocking moment of the night to what happens later. Happened later on NXT. Breezy, DDP looking solid. Yay for yoga. Yeah, man. Footballers, I need this 8-man tag. I really want that too. I would love to see DDP put on the boots again to go up to team up with Dustin, MJF, and Cody versus the Inner Circle sans Jake Hager. That may be my favorite thing from the night from Footballers. Yeah, it was so good. I was very sports entertained. It was very much sports entertainment. How did I not see you guys mention DDP showed up? That's interesting. Yeah, Death Crow, he really did show up. It was DDP looking good, and he had like yoga, like videos of his yoga instructions and his Tron. It was hilarious. It was amazing. Or classes. Meanwhile, on the NXT side, we had a solid match, but I don't really know. I believe it was Angel Garza, I believe that's his name. I know, versus Gentleman Jack Gallagher. #1 contenders match for the Cruiserweight Championship. Leo Rush on commentary. The match was solid. I do like Gentleman Jack Gallagher, but this was kind of definitely a come down match given what happened, the insanity of the first like 3 matches they had. Angel Garza, yes, I got it. But didn't like light my heart on fire. This was the low. This and the next match were probably the low points of NXT, but they were still good, solid matches. Good booking, builds up the Cruiserweight division, presents a challenger for Leo Rush. So I'm okay with it. I am fine with it. I don't really have any complaints. Then we had, I swear to God, the tag strength of AEW. They had Young Bucks versus Best Friends, and this was an entertaining match. Bucks getting heat beaten up on some freshly squeezed Orange Cassidy, but Cassidy got himself involved in the match plenty. It was entertaining as hell. I love the start of the match where like he just gets up, starts talking to one of the Bucks. One of the Bucks shoves him, so he does his sweet shin music, and then just puts his hands in his pockets. Crowd goes wild. Bucks super kick him, massive nuclear heat. It was so good. The match was great. What else can I say? Just yeah, entertaining match, and the Bucks picked up the win. The Best Friends are on a bit of a losing streak right now. Breezy says that this match, along with the other matches, absolutely restored her faith in tag team wrestling. AEW with this show just showed how good tag team wrestling can be and is and should be treated. And I wish WWE treated their tag team wrestling the way AEW is right now. Meanwhile, back over on NXT, we had a tag team match of its own, which fed into what would be a very good tag team match because it leans into NXT's strength, the women's division. We had Tegan Nox and Dakota Kai have their first match as a team in the number one contendership match for the women's tag team titles against the Kabuki Warriors. They faced off against Shayna Baszler's lackeys, Marina Shafir, and Jessamine Duke. Now, it was a quick match. Footballers saying stop everything, but I'm gonna read through the rest of this match, and then whatever he's telling me to stop everything for, I'm gonna go back. This match was great, although short. It sets up a good match next week. I agree. While Shafir and Duke are clearly shown that they're still green, they're still working out the kinks, they're still learning. They are showing that they can put together a match at least. Nox and Kai were able to carry them well. It did its job, and it gave us our first exposure to Shafir and Duke in the ring. So I have no complaints over it. The right team won and went over, and we are going to be getting almost like a dream match for the women's tag team titles next week on NXT with Tegan Nox and Dakota Kai versus the Kabuki Warriors. Kabuki Warriors came up on the Tron after the fact, cut a really good promo afterwards. I love Tegan Nox. I love Dakota Kai. I love those two as a team. And I love Asuka and Kairi Sane, the Kabuki Warriors. So this is going to be a banger of a match. Like, we've got two great tag team title matches next week. Lucha Bros versus SCU for the AEW Tag Team Championships, and then Tegan Nox and Dakota Kai versus Kabuki Warriors for the Women's Tag Team titles. It was just great. Footballer says go stop everything and go look at AEW on TNT Twitter account's profile pic. Breezy says that she loves it. Let me take a quick look, everybody, but I'm gonna keep rolling on and reading as I'm looking this up. The next match was probably the low point of AEW Dynamite, and the reason is that I just think that hold on, AEW on TNT is that while I like a fair amount of the wrestlers in the women's division on AEW, I feel like when you compare it to the NXT division, they've got so many great competitors. It's just hard to, oh my god. AEW wrestling on TNT's profile picture is Orange Cassidy because of how over he was. That is amazing. That was worth the stop everything. Thank you, footballers. Now I like Britt Baker. I like Riho. I like Nyla Rose. I like Awesome Kong, but we haven't seen Awesome Kong since she started. I like Allie. Jamie Hayter faced off against Britt Baker here. It was an okay match. It was solid. It didn't really like blow my mind. It wasn't great. Britt Baker's outfit and entrance was amazing, but that was about the highlight of this match. And though it was still a like suitable match, solid match, when you compare it to the rest of the show, it was a down point. And when you compare it to how amazing Ripley and Belair was, and you look at all the talent in there with Ripley, Belair, Kai, Nox, LeRae, Io, Shayna Baszler, like NXT women's division is just stacked right now compared to what AEW's got. Then, now, forever, I guess. We go to the main events. Pac versus John Moxley for AEW. this went pretty much, people were asking me, the guys in the chat were asking me, Murpho, how do you think this is going to end? Who do you think is going to win? And I was like, honestly, I can see this being a disqualification or some sort of thing where neither guy looks bad. And sure enough, that's what happened. We got our first time limit draw on Dynamite, and I'm fine with it. The crowd booed. Obviously, they want to see a finish. But look, if you're going to instill time limits into your show as rules, time limit draws have to happen. And when you've got two guys, Pac and Mox, who you want to protect, who are two of your top stars, a time limit draw is a perfect way to do it. And then what do you do when it happens? Mox gets upset, DDT's a ref because he's pissed off about it. That was a perfect finish, perfectly booked match, good back and forth action. The match quality itself was solid. It was good. Again, didn't blow my mind like the tag matches, but it was a good match, as you would expect from Moxley and Pac. They don't really have bad matches. The finish, I think, was perfect. Footballers absolutely loved it. He agrees with me. Breezy also says, I think with it being hometown for Britt, she should have faced someone better than a debut girl. No offense, Jamie Hayter. I kind of agree with that, but like Britt also had to win, so like it gets dicey there. Then we cut to the main event of NXT. And oh man, did these fellas kill it. There was a little bit of awkwardness here with Keith Lee and Dominik Dijakovic, but those two and Roddy Strong, they killed it tonight. It was a great match. Some huge Tower of Doom top rope moves. Keith Lee elevating himself and doing a tope suicida to Dominik Dijakovic. Some really hard strikes, big thunderous slams. I think, what was it? Keith Lee on Dijakovic. I can't remember. I think it was Dijakovic he did, not to Strong. Or was it? I think it might have been Lee to Strong. But like lifted whoever was like 6-7 feet in the air and slammed them down. It was on fire. It was great. I thought it was a really good match, and the finish, while a little awkward because Dijakovic kind of had to shimmy up onto Keith Lee's shoulders for Lee to hit that power bomb off the top rope. I think the taken out but coming in out of nowhere, Roddy Strong with that kick to knock out Lee and steal the win. Perfect booking. Lee lifted Dijakovic. I thought so, Death Crow, because that would be more impressive. I missed the weird Brandy thing. Yes, I will get back to that. If I go back, after Jamie Hayter versus Britt Baker, Hayter was doing an interview afterwards, and Brandy just shoved her for no reason. Okay, I guess that means Brandy is gonna get involved, or maybe that's a way to introduce Awesome Kong. It was weird. Anyway, Roddy wins. Down comes Undisputed Era to celebrate. Daddy's showing up to come get Goldie because Daddy's home. Down comes Tommaso Ciampa. It looks like it's going to be a 4v1, so Undisputed Era is looking pretty confident. Then Johnny Gargano's music hits. Johnny Wrestling comes down to the ring. We got a DIY situation in between the ropes with Undisputed Era. Oh, yeah, I don't know why, but I'm kind of doing a Macho Man Randy Savage impersonation, and my throat is killing me as a result. It looks like it's going to be a 4-on-2 situation, but instead, Phineas Balor, his music hits, and we're like, oh god, the odds are even. Are we gonna get a fourth guy coming in to even things up and have an epic showdown? No, we're not, because guess what? Swerve, Finn Balor turns heel and attacks DIY and helps in a beatdown with Undisputed Era. They destroy Ciampa and Gargano. Balor takes down the barricade. Death Crow is saying that Balor is undisputed, but I'm not 100% sold that he is undisputed, because after he takes out Gargano, he's standing on the entrance ramp. He's not in the ring with the rest of Undisputed Era, who are doing the Undisputed Era taunt to him, almost saying like, do it. But Balor, instead of doing Undisputed Era, does the Bullet Club guns and points them at Gargano, and then just backs up the ramp and leaves. So we've got a heel Finn Balor, but it seems like he's not aligned with Undisputed Era, not quite with Undisputed Era. I agree with Footballers. Undisputed Era doesn't need 5 people, but the thought of Balor joining them had me salivating. I think a heel Lone Wolf Balor is great. I like the fresh take of a heel Finn Balor. I think it's great. It's going to set up a great, I think, War Games match coming up in November. This is going to start planting the seeds for War Games. And we've been speculating. We were talking about at the end of the show. It's going to be Undisputed Era and Finn Balor versus DIY and some combination of 3 people. We're thinking Dijakovic and Lee putting their differences aside to take on Undisputed Era alongside with a returning Velveteen Dream. Other people were saying potentially British Strong Style, but that would kind of leave Dream out on a limb unless Dream is legitimately hurt and is going to be off TV for a lot longer. Then that would make sense, but we haven't seen Trent Seven yet, and Dunn is involved in a bit with Killian Dane. We got a little bit of promos of them talking about each other. And Tyler Bate actually delivered a shot to Cameron. Why am I blanking on his name? Cameron Grimes after his match with Matt Riddle. So it seems like those two are already occupied in other storylines. But hey, Lee, Dijakovic, Dream, and DIY versus Undisputed Era and Finn Balor. Sign me up. I love what NXT does with its War Game matches. And that is like a dream War Games match to me. So I think it's going to be great. Great. So, superlative time. We've run down each show. The match of the night. If I was going to order the matches, I believe my order would be, if I'm looking at this here, probably Gallagher and Garza at the bottom. Then and segments. Well, I won't include the Cody and Inner Circle promo. I'll just go with matches. I think Gallagher and Garza, followed by Hayter and Britt Baker, followed by Kai versus Shafir and Duke, followed by, let's see, probably Pac and Mox, or no, probably Breezango and Swerve versus Forgotten Sons. Then Pac and Mox. Then Omega Janela, then Bucks Best Friends, then SCU versus Dark Order, then Riddle versus Grimes, then taking the bronze, I gotta give it to Roddy Strong versus Keith Lee versus Dominic Dijakovic. Silver, I will give to Lucha Bros versus Private Party, and the gold I'm giving to the opening match in NXT, Rhea Ripley versus Bianca Belair. Moment of the night, Balor heel turn was huge. A shot from, I think I gotta give it a tie. I know people aren't gonna like that, but Balor heel turn was huge. But the Cody and Inner Circle promo was equally huge. I lean more towards the AEW moment, but the Balor heel turn was huge, absolutely ginormous. I think I'm gonna have them share the award this week. And then we come to the big one. Who won? I know, it's fitting, right? Moment of the night, a draw on a mat where in AEW it ended on a draw. Moment of the night, who wins the road? It keeps both shows looking strong. Maybe I could do a draw for who wins this week in the Wednesday Night War. And for everybody who knows, who's been following along, I have awarded AEW the slimmest of margins victory in the first 3 weeks. Well, I'm here to tell you guys that things have changed, and for the first week ever, NXT gets the win this week. A slim win, but a win. AEW had some great booking. And some really solid wrestling. And great storytelling. I would give it a 9.5, but I think NXT was a 10. The wrestling in NXT tonight was outstanding. The booking was absolutely perfect. Wow, that was a burp there. Everything that needed to be done to help further along storylines, put people in the right position, do what needed to be done, move storylines ahead, was done perfectly. As much as I love AEW, and I still think as a whole I am enjoying what AEW is doing just a little bit more than NXT, this night, this week belongs to NXT. And if NXT can keep providing shows like this, we got ourselves a war, everybody. So, that is going to do it, guys. That's going to do it for this video. if you're watching on VOD. And this is also going to do it for the live stream. I'm going to head out. Thanks to everybody who came by. Thanks to Big Stupid for his sub over on Twitch. Thanks to everybody involved in the Twitch chat. Footballers, Breezy, Renji, Death Crow, Laser Scope, and Adam. I believe Adam came in. I can't remember, but everybody else who came in, thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much if you're watching on YouTube or back in VOD on Twitch. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, comment, follow, all of that good stuff. Come check out my Discord server if you want to get involved in more wrestling discussions, all that stuff. If you want to watch the reactions live and join the watch party every week on Wednesday nights for AEW and for NXT, come on over to Twitch at twitch.tv/L_Murpho and come watch along with myself and everybody who is here tonight. All right, guys, I had a blast tonight watching at the watch party, so thanks so much to everybody for coming by and watching and being good sports and being very much sports entertained, much like I was tonight. That's going to do it for me. I will be back on Friday night with a gameplay stream, and if all goes well, if you're a Destiny 2 fan for video games, my clan might do a raid, might do the new Destiny raid on Saturday morning. So stick around for that, stay tuned for that stuff, keep a lookout for that. If you're here for just wrestling, I'll see you guys next Wednesday. Until then, peace, deuces. I'll catch y'all later.